name is Brandy Agerbeck. I'm a graphic facilitator, and my website is loosetooth.com. And today I'm really excited to give you the introduction to my graphic facilitation video tutorials. When somebody asks me, "So what do you do?" the first thing I say is I've got a very strange job. I'm a graphic facilitator, and what that means is that when a company is having a strategy meeting, meaning they get their best minds in the same room to tackle a big problem, I'm at the front of that room at a giant sheet of paper mapping out their conversation as they're speaking. So that group of people can literally watch their conversation take shape in front of them in real time. If you're a facilitator, think of me as your visual silent partner. Occasionally I'm hired directly by the client, but more often I'm working with the facilitator, bringing my visual skills to their event to serve their client. I'm extremely fortunate. I absolutely love the work I do, and I get to think and draw for a living, which are two of my favorite things in the world. So let me tell you about a few things I love about being a graphic facilitator. The first thing is the variety. I've worked with every kind of company under the sun. I've worked with startups, I've worked with Fortune 500 companies, I've worked with nonprofits, I've worked with for-profits. I've pretty much worked with any kind of industry you can imagine, from education to energy to whatever. I absolutely love that I get to bring in my paper and my markers and my skills and my experience to that event, and it's always something different. I absolutely love the variety. A second thing I love about the work is my role as the outsider. So if you've recently had a department retreat, you go into that retreat and you're discussing the stuff, you're talking about the retreat stuff, but you're also thinking about that email you didn't get to before you left the office, or that deadline you have next week, or you're thinking about that guy over there, because that guy over there always said something inane and you just can't wait till he says something inane again. Now, I have the great privilege of being the outsider, and I get to come into that meeting completely fresh. I don't have to worry about that email or the deadline or that inane guy. I can probably tell he's inane, but I don't have to deal with him week by week, which I'm extremely thankful for. So I get to come into your event with 100% of my focus and 100% of my energy, and I get to bring my skills to that meeting. A third thing I love about the work is the transparency. The role itself is completely transparent. Everyone can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm at the front of the room. I've got the giant sheet of paper everyone can see, and they literally get to see their conversation take shape. Like I said, it's making their conversation perfectly transparent and perfectly tangible. So I love that my role is transparent, but I also love that the work itself is helping people make their conversation and their ideas transparent and tangible so they can better solve those problems. There's no elegant way to put this, but what I absolutely love about my work is that I help people get their ideas out of their head and onto a piece of paper. So literally, they get that idea out of their head and smack dab on a piece of paper. There's two key benefits to doing this. The first is better thinking. By getting this idea out of your head and onto a piece of paper, you get a new perspective on that idea. The second is better communicating. Once you get that idea out of your head and made tangible on a piece of paper, it's much easier to share that idea with others. I think graphic facilitation has an enormous application for both individuals and groups. I started doing this work back in 1996. We're now in 2009. over the course of those years, I've had the opportunity to build a body of knowledge about this work. That body of knowledge is both the materials and the skills. When I'm working as a graphic facilitator, I'm using 4 skills concurrently. The first one is listening. The second one is organizing those things that I hear. The third one is using my drawing skills to get those organized thoughts onto paper. And the fourth thing is, my particular strength, synthesizing, which is finding the patterns in the conversation and making connections and creating an organized whole in the maps that I create. So you take these materials and skills, and that's when you have graphic facilitation. Graphic facilitation happens in real time with groups and large scale. I can understand if all of this feels a bit daunting. I absolutely love my work, and I'm absolutely exhausted by it by the end of the day. But here's what I'm hoping to do. I'm hoping to take this body of knowledge and break it down into bite-sized chunks. Through video tutorials. An example of a bite-sized chunk might be how to group colors of markers together to better organize your information. The first component is the video itself. I know I talk too fast, but thankfully the video is there for you to watch and re-watch as much as you want. The second part is the PDF. This image that I create in the video will be available as a PDF. I am a visual and kinesthetic learner. So like me, you might want to look at the web address at the beginning of the video and print out your own copy of the image that you get to touch and refer to as you watch. The third thing is a notes section. A tutorial might connect to another tutorial, or to examples in my portfolio, or to outside resources that you might find useful. You can find all those things in the notes section. Who can benefit from these video tutorials? I think in the broadest sense, it's anyone who would like to do better thinking or communicate more clearly by getting their ideas out of their head and onto a piece of paper. Some specific examples. Of course, if you're a graphic facilitator, it's a no-brainer, it's a perfect match. If you're a facilitator and you want to bring some visual tools into your practice, you could learn things like how to use post-it notes to create cluster diagrams to use in your events. If you're a teacher, these skills can totally translate to your whiteboard or your blackboard. If you're a student, you could use a mind map to help clarify what you're learning. As a trainer, you could use visual models to help reinforce what you're training. As a manager, you could make a map of your departmental goals to share at the next retreat with your employees. And as an employee, you could get your great new idea onto a piece of paper to share with your boss. And just generally speaking, there's a huge amount of application for this, but from peer to peer with your colleagues and as an individual. I'm hoping that whether you watch one bite-sized chunk or all of them, I'll be able to share what I've learned over the years with you so you can bring some graphic facilitation skills into your work. So I hope you enjoy watching the videos. I hope you learn lots. And lastly, enjoy! I'm Brandy Agerbeck. I'm a graphic facilitator, and my website is loosetooth.com. If you'd like to talk to me about hiring me as a graphic facilitator, or if you have comments or questions about this video, please email me at brandy@loosetooth.com. Happy viewing!